Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hey, good Saturday morning to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill, located right here in downtown Alexander City, Alabama, and Sunshine Heating and Air in Davil, Alabama. So we can't thank those two long-standing sponsors enough. Been with us really since day one. Scott, it's been almost 20 years running Saturday Sports Countdown. You've been getting up for 20 years.
Man,
you struggle to get up.
If people only knew.
I think they do. I think they do. But anyway, glad all of you have joined us out there to get your Saturday morning started. College football Saturday. Auburn Cal, and we'll be at 2:30. Alabama coming up a little bit later on, and we'll talk a lot about college later on in the program, but we're going to talk primarily high school football here in the first hour like we always do, Scott, and we'll take your comments, take your calls, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program that way, but by comment, you can comment all throughout the program. So interesting night last night. Benjamin Russell gets in the win column. We'll start there, and we'll continue to take comments throughout the show if you want to add something to it. But we'll start here, and we'll run down scores from throughout the state of Alabama. Boy, there was one in 1A. My Lord. We'll get to it in a little bit. We don't want to give it away. Is it possible for an individual to score 10 touchdowns and lose?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a wow out there. And if you missed the scoreboard show last night, you hadn't seen the scores, we'll give them to you here in a little bit. But, yeah, that was a pretty interesting football game in 1A. Blew my mind when I saw all the way that thing went down. So we'll get to it a little bit. But Benjamin Russell with a big win last night, 55-28 over Calera. So, again, getting in the win column, getting off to a 1-0 start in region play was the key here. And, again, playing two really good football teams to start the season. Got off to an 0-2 start, lost by a touchdown last week to Central Clay, who, by the way, destroyed Valley last night. They may not have a game within 4 or 5 touchdowns. Now, I know if Danny's watching and that whole group's probably like, man, that's they're trying to jinx it. No, we're not trying to jinx you. It's just a fact when you look down at how good of a team they have, and that Benjamin Russell game possibly be their toughest challenge throughout the year. So, but the Wildcats again offensively, I thought did some really good things last night. But overall, still a lot to work on for the Wildcats. Scott, they have a high ceiling. That's a good thing. When you can win convincingly like that and still have a lot to work on to get better means you've got a really, really high ceiling. We haven't seen nearly what this team can do if they were to put everything together. And, of course, 3 weeks into the season, a lot of teams haven't put everything together. It's just the way it is. So what I thought, if we're going to break it down, I thought Elijah Johnson starting at the quarterback position and T.J. Wilson really had – good nights. Again, things for everybody to work on, but I thought Elijah really made some good plays in the air, was able to run for some first downs, was able to run for a 2-point conversion. Really, really good job there. T.J. Wilson's a workhorse. I thought our offensive line gave him plenty of holes to run through, just a strong, very fast back, a little bit deceptive with his speed. When he gets in the open field, can really just get after it, and just a phenomenal player. On defense, thought we played well at times, but we gave up a lot of yards. I don't know the exact number of yards, and gave up some more big plays. Again, that's a thing that's going to have to be diagnosed and fixed moving forward, Scott, against as you move through the season and get toward the playoffs and have games that every play matters. You got to limit big plays on defense. And I thought our special teams, again, struggled out of the gate. Extra points and some kickoff coverages and some things like that. But I thought Micah Murphy punted the football really well last night. He had a 60-yarder, but I think his average was probably around 38 to 40 yards a punt, which is very good in high school. Micah's come on, his brother Colin kicking off, and his place kicking's really good. His legs really strong, but also on the defensive side, Kendrick Bird had a great night. Had 2 interceptions, an 85-yard pick six. Had another opportunity he had 2 interceptions, had a shot at a third, and he was wide open. He probably was thinking, man, I just lost my concentration, but he made up for it with that pick six. But lots of plays all over the field, lots of great accolades, Scott, by the Wildcats, and it's good to get in the win column and especially get that first region win, go to 1-0.
Yeah, I think the most important thing was getting to 1-0 in the region play. Obviously, 2 tough games to begin the season, but I think the thing that if you're watching the Wildcats, the one thing that's been consistent throughout the season is that there's been some slower starts for the Wildcats, or either the opposing team comes out and has a special teams play, or there's a mistake that's made that gives them really good field position and they get a score early. So the Wildcats have been behind the 8 ball offensively anyway, starting games. So I think, cleaning some of that up would be helpful, but some of it is what it is. But I think this week, and then you have an opponent next week that you hope that you're able to move to 2-0 in and get ready for Spain Park coming in. But overall, I thought that the name that you mentioned, Elijah Johnson, I'm really enjoying seeing the maturation of him behind the position. Really has control of the offense, and the coaches trust him to make the plays that are needed at the appropriate time.
Well, I'm going to give my evaluation really through 3 weeks. It's not what the opponent's done to Benjamin Russell. Now, all 3 opponents I thought have played their style and done well. And, Clay Central, I thought they played error-free. And I thought Opelika hit us with a couple of plays that we wish we had back on defense. But for the most part, it's what we're doing to ourselves. It's double-digit penalties. It's, not executing when you need to. It's giving up a big play. It's not really what the other team is doing. It's us not aligning right. It's us not having the correct coverage called. It's us, starting with 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10. I mean, you're making it that much more difficult on yourself to be successful when you have all those nagging things that add up. And if you would just play semi-clean, from a penalty standpoint, our first downs, we're having to get 15 or 20 yards to get a first down. The first drive of the second half, it was penalty, and, we're fighting, again, no shot at Calera, but Calera really wasn't getting much pressure. And, Elijah had time to look down the field and find receivers, and don't think they really had anybody that could match up with us receiver-wise. I mean, they were grabbing Sedarian, they were grabbing Jamichael, and, we had them outmanned, but every time you make a play, you get it called back. I mean, TJ had a couple runs called back on holding penalties and had one man downfield on a big throw there for Elijah in the pocket to Sedarian, really to get started in the second half, and you got an offensive lineman about 5 to 7 yards down. That's just not knowing or not being on the same page. And again, early in the season, you can expect that. But you got to clean it up. I mean, because we say this week after week, and then if you continue to do it, that eventually becomes who you are. So there's no question this team has a lot of talent. It has a high ceiling and can do some big things. And as you look forward throughout this schedule, there's not a team on the schedule I don't think we can't score points on. But we got to make things easier on us. I want to see us play a game where we're not doing these things and putting ourselves in a bad situation where we got to fight through extra things. It's like we're fighting another opponent. We're fighting we're fighting the team we're playing. We're fighting ourselves, making mistakes. So get those things cleaned up. This team has a high ceiling. Love the effort from our kids. I love the way our coaches are dialing up plays. I had a chance to watch some film with Coach Grider last week, and, man, the offensive play calling's there. but you got to get out there and execute. You can't have guys that run the wrong way on a route or run the wrong way when they're trying to block or missing a block or missing a gap assignment. So that's good, though. Again, I take away 55 points, a dominant win over a region opponent, and still plenty to work on means this team's got a extremely high ceiling.
Yeah, and I think that as we've seen the last couple of years, really the Wildcats really haven't started to play their best ball until midway,
right?
Toward the end of the season. So, and you're also you lose a lot of guys from last year's team, and you're still looking for some guys to see. So people are getting played in different positions, and you're seeing different styles of what's going to work. So I'm with you. I think that a lot of it, from our end, is if we can just clean up some of the things we're doing internally to cause some of the problems with second and long, or causing more issues for the defense to now go from 3rd and 8, 3rd and 3. Cleaning up some of that cleans up the game in general. And so even though we did win big last night, or Benjamin Russell did win big last night, but it felt like it probably could have been even more, and so that makes you feel better.
That's my point. Yeah. I mean, it's a high ceiling. You love to go to the film room and look at the things that you can work on after you won by 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. That's the good thing that, again, that you take away from it. And then, again, tons of great individual effort in all 3 phases. We had 3 players of the game last night for that reason. Elijah on offense, Kendrick on defense, and Micah on special teams. And, you start coming together, again, hitting your stride. I'd rather be playing my best football coming down the stretch than right out of the gate. So, it's all about timing. But we're going to take our break here, our first break here, and we come back. Got a lot more to come here, wrapping up scores from around the state, just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin, comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. As you're watching there on TV or on YouTube or Facebook, 256-825-4849 is the number to call Sunshine Heating and Air for all your heating and air needs. We appreciate them so very much. Let's get back to it, Scott. Again, wrapping up locally here, Dayville and Beulah played on Thursday night, and Dayville dropped 0-3, 28-14 loss to Beulah. A game I think they felt like, they should have won. And going into the game, I mean, you respect your opponents, but I think from the talk that I heard that, things that I was being told, in the history of Dayville-Beulah, Dayville dominated that series. That Dayville felt like they needed to get in the win column there. They didn't do it. So they dropped 0-3. It's a tough start for Chad McKelvey and the Dayville Tigers. But, again, they got to go back to the drawing board. And they've got two really good teams that moved over from AHSAA into their region that right now are the favorites, especially Glenwood. Yeah. Glenwood with another big win last night. This team is loaded. They got a lot of great players on that team. And then another game locally, Horseshoe Bend and Reeltown. Reeltown is, man, I'll tell you, in 2A, as good as anybody. I know Pisgah's a team to watch because Pisgah's already knocked off Fife this year, and Fife's in 3A. They're not in 2A. So, again, Reeltown were runner-ups last year in 2A. Would expect them to make another run. But this game wasn't even close at all. 61-0. It was 49-0 maybe at half, something like that. That game was also played on Thursday night. So, and then Coosa Central was shut out last night as well. So, been a struggle for them to get the season started. I can tell you a team that has not struggled getting the season started, and that's Central Clay in 5A. Once again, another dominant performance, 48-0 over Valley. Again, the Wildcats fell 35-28 last week. I don't know that you'll see them give up 28 points to many people.
No, and it was very similar last season. They go undefeated in the regular season, and pretty much their closest game was against the Wildcats. But this team seems to be a little different in skill level than maybe what we've seen the last few years. They're very athletic in the skill positions, and
they got a very versatile quarterback too.
And I was going to say, I think that offensive coordinator Coach Chase Horn, I think, is enjoying having somebody who can do multiple things back there. If they need to go into the wishbone and sit down, they can do that, or if they need to do some things in the air, he's capable as well.
And they'll throw it when they need to, but for the most part, they're going to try to run the football, and they've got a slew of running backs back there. And, again, you add Gibbons at quarterback. He's another weapon to run. And so they've got plenty of weapons, especially in 5A football. And looking at who their opponents are, I think they'll be favored in every game moving forward. Going back to Ben Russell, they'll welcome in Chilton County next week. Again, Chilton County lost to Helena pretty handily last night. The game was close through about three quarters, and then Helena, found themselves in that game and kind of pulled away. We'll go through those scores here in just a little bit. But Chilton County, it is what it is. If you look at the region and the history with Benjamin Russell, it's another opponent Benjamin Russell's dominated, and a lot of the games have not been close. And, again, they're toward the bottom of this region. Let's be honest about it. I mean, Wildcats are the defending region champs of this region. Now, I know we've had a couple of teams add in. Chelsea and Spain Park will be new faces in this region, but if you look at it, Pelham's down based on their scores. They're not the Pelham that we've been used to seeing. The Wildcats have beaten Helena 2 years in a row, and they had two of their better teams in program history, and we were able to knock them off. You take them one by one. You don't want to overlook anybody, so you build off what you did this past week and try to improve. But, again, another very winnable game, a game that the Wildcats should win if they play up to their standard. When Chilton County rolls into town next Friday, would get them to 2-0 in region play. Then you got Spain Park, and then Spain Park very, very good, number 4 team in 6A as they drop down from 7A. We'll go through the scores here in just a minute. But, again, that's the next 3 games for the Wildcats. So could get back to even on the season at 2-2 next week, but you're more importantly off to a very good start in region play with a 2-0 start if you take care of business next week.
Absolutely, and it puts you in the driver's seat for at least securing a playoff berth. So if you win those first 2 and then you look at kind of the remaining schedule, you feel pretty comfortable about at least moving forward of making a playoff run, and then not to get too far ahead, but it looks like, Spain Park and Ben Russell probably the top 2 teams in the region. And so that'll be a big game there. But, again, just going back for the last couple of weeks, I think that as a fan, and you said it perfectly, I feel good about where we are, even though the record, you're 1-2, but we've been in all the games. It's just some things that need to be cleaned up. And I think, again, just if we could get off to a good start where we don't feel like we're behind the 8 ball immediately, and it changes the momentum of how things are going. And I thought last night, too, it was a little flat because, the crowd wasn't as large, maybe due to weather, and so it just seemed a little different. And that was a different level of opponent than what we've seen the last couple of weeks as well. But good to put up 55, and you look forward to hopefully doing something very similar against Chilton County on Friday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, just one game at a time, get better. I think that's the motto for every team. And, I think this team, again, to not belabor the point, has an extremely high ceiling when you play the way we've played the first 3 weeks. Been in 2 very close losses to 2 really good programs. And then you get a dominant win. But when you look at the film, you got plenty to work on. That tells you, this is not, a lot of times you can play ugly and barely win and say we got a lot to work on. But, man, we squeaked one out. One going away. Really never felt like we weren't in control of the game. Meanwhile, we were making a bunch of mistakes and having things to clean up. So we've got a lot to look at there on film. And again, I think this team, as you said, the last couple of years have hit their stride at the right time. And when they put it all together, they're going to be a tough out, period. Against anybody in 6A football. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll start running down scores from throughout the state of Alabama. Again, one score in 1A football that is unbelievable. And some individual accolades, unbelievable. You don't want to miss that. We come back, we'll talk about that and a lot more. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret, an affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious 1-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
I'm going to go ahead and start with 1A on this one particular game. We're going to get around to all the games and give you the scores if you weren't able to hear them from last night on the AHSAA Radio Network Scoreboard Show with Luke Robinson and Jay Jeffcoat. They do a great job. I was able to watch a lot of that last night after our game, and they bring you every single score throughout the state from 10 to midnight. A late game for us last night. That game,
the first half was an hour and a half long. I looked down when they were going out. It was like 8:26. When
so you knew it was at that point.
I was like, it's gonna be a long. Third quarter's pretty long.
Right. Yeah. The clock. I don't think I ever saw the clock move. I think we're still over there. The way that game was going. But anyway, in 1A football, a region matchup between Elba and McKenzie ended in an 80-78 win for McKenzie in 4 overtimes. And this Elba team has one of the best players in the country, and Alvin Henderson. He scored 10 touchdowns last night. 10 touchdowns in an 80-78 loss. So when you're a player and you go, man, I just set a record. You know, and this kid's been setting records, you know, his whole career at Elba, and they've got a great team and a program, but man, talk about zilch for defense. Glenwood went down last week and beat them, and now they've dropped this game, a heartbreaker, 80-78. Not able to get the win in 4 overtimes, but man, what an unbelievable game. And the record in AHSAA for touchdowns total is 11, 8 rushing and 3 passing from Braden Kyle. In 2021, but the rushing TD record up until this point was 9. So Alvin Henderson sets another record with 10 touchdowns in a football game. Scott, again, that does not happen. No. It's a record, and he's that kind of player. He's committed to Auburn. He was committed to Penn State, but he's committed to Auburn. Just a very good player. Tough loss, though, for Elba. Big win for McKenzie.
Yeah. Man, do you know how, like, just impressive that is? There are people who don't have 10 touchdowns in a season, you know, in a career sometimes, let alone one game. And so he's just magnificent with the ball in his hands, and he is
good Lord, trying to figure out how to stop him.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? I mean, he's so versatile and brings a lot to the offense that allows you to be creative, but 80 points given, I mean, you know, obviously the other
what does McKenzie have?
Yeah. So, but
I mean, they won the game. Yeah. Nobody's talking about them. They're talking about Alvin Henderson. I mean, but obviously they have plenty of offensive weapons to get going. So, all right, let's get to scores. 7A football, Auburn knocks off Opelika. Thought it was 28-21, but this has 28-24. So, again, nevertheless, Auburn wins the football game, a rival game. The 99th meeting between Auburn and Opelika, and I'm almost positive it was 28-21, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's right here on our sheet. But Auburn wins again. They won a close one last year over Opelika at the very end of the game, and, you know, Auburn continues to roll there. And Opelika is in that region, man. When you get an opportunity to win a game in that region, you better seize it, because it is a brutal region. Every single week is going to be tough to to pull out a win. Doesn't matter who you are and who you're playing. You got to bring your A game. But a tough loss there for Coach Moore, new coach at Opelika. But they're right there, man. Opelika's getting better, and they're right there on the cusp. They'll have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and it's speaking of that region, you look and Phoenix City more than likely you would assume. Obviously, they lose to Auburn, so that's 2, and then Enterprise probably. So now you're looking at Prattville and Dothan really as the teams and Carver too, I guess. But I don't know. It's just tough for them. They're very similar to Ben Russell in certain regards, where kind of the lower end of the classification, so it shows up at times. But good win for Auburn.
Carver Montgomery, you better not sleep on this team. They beat Jag 46-0. Very good coach. Loaded team. I think they've got 17 D1 prospects on this team. They're in that region with Auburn and Phoenix City. And speaking of Phoenix City, Smith Station, man, I mean, talk about drawing the short straw and being in the region. Smith Station is there. If there's a team that's not competitive in that region right now, it's them. Phoenix City knocks them off 69-15. Not sure they're going to have any close games, and it'll be on the wrong side for them, Scott. I mean, you look at that region with Enterprise, Dothan. I mean, there was a war down there in the Wiregrass between Enterprise and Dothan. Enterprise knocked off Dothan 28-21. You got Opelika falling to Auburn by a touchdown. You got Phoenix City being dominant. I mean, there you go. I mean, we've already named off 5 teams, and with Carver being so good, there's only 4 spots in the playoffs. So somebody that's good is going to get left out. Well, right now, Smith Station not even talk. And I didn't even talk about some of these other teams that, they have to play outside of region play. Like Opelika had to play Benjamin Russell and, the same with Auburn and Phoenix City. But right now, Smith Station, they're just and again, they're a big school, and they've had flashes in the pan of being good at times, but right now their program is struggling to find their identity in the absolute toughest region in the state.
Yeah, and then you're sandwiched between Auburn and Phoenix City, and so it's it's tough when they're having the type of success that they're having. If you have the opportunity to go to either one of those schools, if you're talented on the field, you're going there more than likely.
Hewitt-Trussville with a 4-point win over Vestavia Hills, 18-14. Vestavia off to 0-3 start. So tough start, tough sledding for Vestavia. Hoover knocks off Hillcrest 35-6. That's Hillcrest Tuscaloosa, a very good football team, and they knock them off. Man, Hoover may be playing with a chip on their shoulder, may be finding themselves, may be listening to everybody say that, hey, all the turmoil, they probably don't have their stuff together and probably going to not be a good year again. They're like, here, hold this for just a second. We're about to show you. Hoover with a dominant win over a very good Hillcrest team, 35-6. James Clemens knocked off Bob Jones. That's a rival game in Huntsville, 34-31. Huntsville knocks off Grissom, 30-27. Prattville with a touchdown win over Oak Mountain, 35-28, and no problem for Thompson there over Tuscaloosa County, 47-7. Thompson started off with a couple of tough games there, and a lot of people were like, man, it's defense for them, dude. Nobody's going to score on them. Fagans and Smith on the defensive side, along with everybody else they've got. They struggled the first couple of weeks scoring points, but their whole mojo is defense, and nobody's scoring on that defense. Even the game that they lost against Grayson was a 15-14 loss, and again, it was in overtime. And in this state, outside of the state, you go out and get these opponents to play. But inside the state and their schedule, it's going to be tough sledding for people to score points.
Yeah, and we've grown accustomed to that, and it's just amazing how they've been able to continue this cycle of success.
All right, we're going to take a break. We come back, we'll continue with scores from throughout the state. We'll take your phone calls. We'll take your comments if you have them. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Back here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, get your comments in. If you got a score or anything, something that you were at a game last night, you want to comment, want to throw our way, please do so. We just ran down 7A. We'll dive into 6A now. Again, Benjamin Russell last night over Calera, 55-28. That game local here. That's the game we had here on the Wildcat Football Network. Blunt with a 6-point win over Murphy, 12-6. Chelsea over Pelham, 36-33. Not much defense in that game. That's two teams, again, in Benjamin Russell's region that you'll look forward to as far as how we match up. Again, Chelsea, we have a history with Chelsea. Another team that we've beaten a lot more than they've beaten us. But Pelham was kind of a thorn in our side last year. Finally figured out the last couple of years how to get over that hump, and Pelham's given up a lot of points this year. So based on that score, I think the Wildcats have a good opportunity to put more points up against both of those teams if they don't, shoot themselves in the foot. Clay Chalkville 45-0 over Pale City. Clay Chalkville, they're just picking up where they left off last year. The defending 6A champs. They have not had a close game, and Pale City's been playing a little bit better. But just got it shut down last night. Helena, as I mentioned in the first segment, did end up pulling away from Chilton County 48-13, but it was 13-13 for a long time. So Helena, though, Another a very good program. Again, a team that scores points. They're going to have to, again, Wildcats are going to have to battle them in Spain Park and maybe, that Chelsea Pelham. It's going to be every Friday night, you got to bring your A game. Very well coached teams in this region, so you're going to have to show up and play well. Homewood with a 49-21 win over Mortimer Jordan. McAdory 34, Northridge 7. McGill-Tulane with a 2-point win over Theodore. That was a huge win for McGill-Tulane. They went 18-16. Mountain Brook with a 2-point win over Hueytown, 23-21. That was an interesting score. Here was a score. It was 21-all in the third quarter, but Oxford pulls away 45-21 over Shades Valley. So Oxford, again, in a battle for about 3 quarters, ends up pulling away. Here's a team you better watch: Muscle Shoals over Columbia. Now, I know Columbia's not very good. I think they have the losing streak going in the state right now, or one of them. Muscle Shoals wins 63-6, but that is a very dominant football team. Parker with a 35-7 win over Gardendale. Watch them; they're the number 2 team right now in 6A. Going to be a tough out. A game that was the Thursday night game of the week. I went down and did the on the road feature with AHSAA this week in Montgomery. Percy Julian squeaking out a 2-point win over Stanhope Elmore, and man, you talk about errors. Stanhope Elmore, basically a chip shot field goal to win the game, extra point, had it blocked, missed a couple more in the game, and really a one-dimensional team. I mean, from watching that game, there is no passing attack for Stanhope. So I don't know how you can run through a season in 5A, 6A football, 7A football, really from 5A up with a one-dimensional, maybe even 4A. Hard to get by being a one-dimensional team in any of those classifications. And I think Stanhope threw 2 passes in the whole game.
That's very tough from this level of classification. And I haven't had an opportunity to see, what they have, but I'm guessing that if that's the case, they're limited, I guess, at the quarterback position, at least throwing the ball. But tough sledding for Stanhope Elmore. Hopefully, they can get things back going in the right direction.
Well, I don't know their schedule. I don't have it in front of me, but it's not going to be any easier. And Percy Julian's another team we got to watch. That's on our schedule later on in the season. So again, they squeaked out a 2-point win there. Pike Road knocks off Rehoboth 40-19. Saraland and Gulf Shores, an anticipated game there. Gulf Shores, the defending 5A champs, have found it tough moving up to 6A. They lose again 31-7. You see these teams, state championship teams, when they have to move up a classification, Scott, they get a humbling. They get a big old piece of humble pie. They had played the team that finished runner-up in 6A in Saraland. And Saraland, it was 21-0. Obviously, the game was never in question. Saraland ends up winning that game pretty easily. Russell County knocks off Wetumpka 21-17. That's a little bit shocking. And then Spanish Fort knocks off Baldwin County 35-6. In 5A, Andalusia over Headland 24-6. Beauregard all over Marbury 57-7. Center Point shuts out Lincoln 50-0. As I mentioned, Central Clay 48, Valley 0. That's a pretty good Valley program. Now I know they lost several big time players off last year's team, but Valley usually a really good team. But to get blanked by Central Clay, again, tells you more about Central Clay maybe than it does about Valley, a very good team there. Corner knocks off Winona by 1 point, 21-20. Citronelle over Faith Academy, 40-8. Faith Academy is a good football team. Citronelle all over them, 40-8. Gunnersville over Brewer, 52-22. Hopeville knocks off Sylacauga, 35-13. Sylacauga continues to. I mean, they're in a funk like they've not been in a long time.
Yeah, and it's I know it's frustrating for the fan base had a lot of turnover at the coaching position, and it's just they haven't been able to get their footing. But they've had some really tough losses here to start the season.
Moody shuts out Jacksonville 35-0. Montgomery Catholic and Eufaula will play today at 1 o'clock. So that game will be at 1 o'clock at Eufaula. Don't really know why that game was rescheduled. But they play today at 1 o'clock. Ramsey finally gets a win. Ramsey was the runner-up there in 5A. They lost to that Gulf Shores team, but, boy, they opened up with a brutal schedule to start. But they finally get a win over Briarwood Christian, 23-14. So Ramsey knocking off Briarwood there, that's a big win for them. We were at the game of the week there, first week of the season with them. And, they, again, a tough road to hoe. They had to open up with Parker. Then they had to play Clay Chalville. Two of the best teams in the whole state. And Ramsey last year was one of the best teams in the state, and they got hammered by both of them. Viger all over the floor, 60-0. Scottsboro beats Boaz 42-35. In Class 4A, Alexandria 35-7 over White Plains. Anniston 62, Asheville 8. Bayside Academy and Orange Beach decided to play baseball last night. It was 7-5. Bayside knocking off Orange Beach there. Booker T. Washington over Talladega 32-12. Deschler blanks Danville 35-0. Dora over Fayette County 38-36. Some good football games.
Yeah.
Elmore County 31-7 over Carroll. Man, very good football team in Elmore County. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll finish running down scores. I'll say some more about Elmore County and what Kyle Caldwell's done down there. They just continue to get better and better. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
With summer here, the kids out of school, and fun at the lake, illness or injury can strike at any time. Whether you're on vacation or just don't have time to go see your primary doctor, visit your friends and professionals at Ivy Creek Urgent Care, located at Highway 49 South, next to Stillwater's main entrance. With a rotation of 4 professional doctors and 3 nurse practitioners, they honor all walk-ins, get you in, properly treated, and out swift so you can be back to the summer fun fast. When you need urgent, see Ivy Creek Urgent Care, Daveville. No appointment needed.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
The good guys at Alex City Marine are ready for your boating needs all summer. And now you can get up to $4,500 in rebates on our huge selection of new Landau Tritoons and sacrifice pricing on remaining 23 models. Alex City Marine also has a new fleet of rental boats for fabulous days on the water, whether it's service, new pontoon selections, or rental boats. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road in Alexander City or online at alexcitymarine.com.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We'll get back to the scores here. I want to go back to Elmore County real quick, though. Elmore County, Kyle Caldwell, Kyle doing a tremendous job there at Elmore County, and won 8 games last year. A couple years ago, they were 0-10 when he took that program over. The previous year, they were 0-10. And now he's, again, gotten this program back to every time they go on the field, they believe they're going to win the football game. Now, they played Tallahassee last week. That game was called due to some, unfortunate issues with, potential threats with people with guns. So they just took precaution and shut that game down, and rightfully so. But Elmore County with a big win, 31-7. Over Carroll last night. Hanley 35, Cleveland County 14, Madison Academy over Dar 55-0, Mobile Christian over Satsuma 40-6, Opp over New Blockton 30-27, Pike County over Geneva 21-15, St. James with a 1-point win over Bullitt County. Bullitt County, that's a. St. James has struggled this year, and they pull out a 1-point win.
Yeah, that's not one I anticipated. They thought that they may struggle. Yeah.
No, I didn't either. They pulled that one out. Tallahassee with a big win over Munford, 35-14. L.A. O'Neill. I think you're going to see him get Tallahassee right back to. Tallahassee had a year last year. They struggled. I think that Tallahassee-Sylacauga game came down to see who would not go winless. And Tallahassee now already a couple wins on the season. And, he took Booker T. Washington to their furthest run in playoff history last year. Finished, in the third round and was in a very good situation to move on to the semifinals there. In 3A, we'll run down these scores. Again, Beulah knocked off Dayville 28-14. Dayville falls to 0-3 on the season. Fife over Collinsville 42-10. Excel over Flomaton 28-22. Glenwood is the story right now for me in 3A. They knock off B.B. Comer 37-14. They also went down and knocked off Elba with Alvin Henderson last week. It's a very good football team that moved over from AHSAA, Scott, along with Lee Scott. So that's a tough region for teams like Childersburg and Dayville, and I don't know all of the region. Beulah obviously in that region, but man, Glenwood and Lee Scott right now, to me, moving over from AHSAA, seem to be the favorites in that region.
Yeah, and I thought that it would be a little bit easier for Glenwood maybe than Lee Scott, but
that'd be tough to beat them too. So,
but I think that when you've been successful, it makes it, they've been playing quality competition, but it is good to see kind of as a test case some of these other schools maybe looking to say, all right, we could compete if we put together the appropriate type of, team and coaching staff.
Well, speaking of Lee Scott, they knock off Childersburg 42-14. So my point, we've run down 5 of the teams there in that region. And, again, I feel like going to take a monumental – it's probably going to come down to those two teams to see who wins the region unless something crazy happens. Mars Hill, who's been a powerhouse for the last 5 years, they win over Colbert County 45-21. Doesn't look like things are going to change there. Montgomery Academy knocks off Houston Academy 12-10. Very good football game there. Piedmont over Ohatchee, a rival game, 46-20 there. Thomasville shuts out Southside Selma 34-0. Trinity over Prattville Christian 49-0. You better watch out for T.R. Miller 50-0 over Monroe County. T.R. Miller knocked off Reeltown in that kickoff classic 28-7, and Reeltown hasn't had a close one since. They knocked off Trinity 20-6 last week, and then we just talked about a big win for Reeltown over Horseshoe Bend. But that T.R. Miller team knocked them off. Again, that's playing up and down classification, but T.R. Miller moved down from 4A to 3A. They're a good football team. Going to be a tough out, whoever they play. Moving down to 2A football, as we just mentioned, Coosa Christian's a team to watch, 42-7 over Southeastern. Loaded. Very good team last year. Had some issues, had some controversy going on there that made them forfeit several games, but they're very, very good. I would not be surprised if they make a run there at the state championship in Class 2A. GW Long shuts out Sampson 34-0. Highland home over Barber County, no surprise there, 54-0. Pisgah continues to roll 55-14 over Section. Reeltown, as I mentioned, 61-0 over a cross county opponent, Horseshoe Bend, 61-0. Sullivan over Isabella, 24-14. 1A football to wrap up scores. Brantley over Pleasant Home, 39-0. Georgiana over Florala, 40-8. Otaugaville knocks off Notasulga, 37-14. Leroy defeats McIntosh, 40-12. As I mentioned earlier, McKenzie 80, Elba 78, and that's not a misprint. McKenzie 80, Elba 78. Alvin Henderson sets the state record for most touchdowns rushing in a football game at 10, and his team loses.
That's wild. That's wild. But 80 points, 78 points, whatever. I mean, that's a lot of points been scored in 4 overtime football games from those in attendance had a heck of a
I'd like
night.
to know the ratio of games that are lost when you score 78 points. Not many.
I'd be.
I mean, the probability is probably 99.9%. If you score 78 points in a football game, you're going to win, but not last night when they played McKenzie. Maplesville over Elwood Christian, 55-0. Spring Garden over Raglan, 47-21. Some good football teams in 1A, by the way. Sweetwater shuts out Millery, 6-0. You don't see a score like that very often anymore. Victory Christian over Woodland, 28-12. And you better watch out here. Wadley, 61. Fayetteville, 14. The Wilkes kid, running back for Wadley, man, just steamrolling. Good luck.
Yeah, 1A is
1A with a team like Wadley's got. And then finally, Winterboro shuts out Central Coosa 42-0. Central Coosa is going to be another program this year, Scott, that's going to be trying to find a way to win a football game. And again, hiring a coach late, getting in, and it's a numbers game for all classifications, but having a roster where you can have enough players to compete, is one of those situations. So, again, that's scores from throughout the state of Alabama here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. A lot of crazy stuff going on last night, especially with a game that was 80-78. Now, that, to me, still is the headline. So going back, though, and recapping here in the high school section before we get into the college portion of the show, Scott, in 7A football, it seems to be the same players. Phoenix City, Thompson would be your two favorites right now. Enterprise and Dothan, good football teams, but not quite to the level of those. Auburn, with a narrow victory over Opelika, it just seems like still there's a gap between Phoenix City and Thompson and then everybody else.
Yeah, and the rest of the teams in the region, especially on the Auburn side, they're looking for ways to submit themselves.
Carver could be one of those teams.
Well, see, is it more this year, obviously? Because they have the talent level, but is this something where if they...
Well, you better take advantage of it when you have it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't worry about next year. Don't worry about... Yeah, I mean, Phoenix City and Thompson have sustained this level of dominance. Carver hasn't been in the picture. They are now. And, if they were to knock off Phoenix City and win the region or be able to do something like that and make the run, it could be them in Birmingham representing the South, maybe against Thompson. If, again, I'm not saying they will. Right now, Phoenix City looks unbeatable. Yeah. They have not had a close game. But that'll be interesting game to watch, see how that game goes down. All right, we're going to wrap up high school. If you got any comments or anything that you'd like to add throughout the show, of course, please send them our way. We'll cover those, but we'll dive into college football here in hour number 2. So we're at the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 of the Saturday Sports Countdown coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
At Majestic Caverns, we believe in the power of unforgettable experiences. At a cool 60 degrees year-round, America's most historic caverns guarantees an enjoyable escape. But it doesn't stop there. With over 20 above-ground attractions, including 5 new ones this year, and our Cave Cafe, which offers delicious drinks and plenty of food options. And don't miss our exciting event, Libertas. On June 29th, July 6th, and July 13th, enjoy live entertainment and much more. At Majestic Caverns, your unforgettable adventure awaits.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second hour of the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill here in Alexander City and Sunshine Heating and Air down in Davila, Alabama. JR Sports Bar and Grill, your official home for all things tailgating, catering, everything that you need during the football season. You can go up to JR's, hang out. They'll have all the games on the TVs up there if you want to just hang out. Let them do all the work for you. Let them provide the food. You can just sit back and relax and watch football on Saturdays at JR Sports Bar and Grill, the best food around. I'll argue with anybody, right, Scott?
Yeah.
On that. Just really, really good food there. And we've been around JR's for over 20 years now, and just appreciate them so very much. And we'll dive into college football. And we'll have Luke Robinson on with us, hopefully, here. Luke has long nights during football season. Finishing up the scoreboard show on, at midnight or a little after on Fridays, and then having to get up and do the show. And but we'll talk about some of these games again as we look down the list. We'll break down this Auburn game. You got South Florida at Alabama today, and South Florida, that game last year was kind of the turning point for Alabama. I know it was early in the year, but they went down there and they benched Jalen Milroe. He didn't play in this game. I think Nick Saban was trying to send a message, and obviously the message was taken. And they slopped through a win down there. It was ugly, raining, and just didn't play very well. And the game was kind of in doubt at some point. But they got it wrangled in, and we saw what they were able to do last year, making the playoffs, and end up losing to Michigan, who eventually won the national championship. But nevertheless, we'll talk about that game, talk about this Auburn-Cal game, and break down how this game went last year versus how we feel like it'll go this year. We talked about on the Auburn Blitz. Just two totally different rosters when you look at it. I think Cal maybe has 52 new players on their roster. Auburn's got a boatload of new players on their roster. Auburn won that game 14-10 last year. But, Scott, there was an identity crisis for Auburn when you look back. Peyton Thorne only threw for 94 yards in that game, only attempted 14 passes. Very ugly game from a stat perspective, but they found a way to win the game. But don't expect it to go that way this year. Auburn's a 13-point favorite in this game. They have a very experienced advanced secondary at Cal, so it's going to challenge our young receivers. I think it'll be a good test for them. They're going to show some coverages that maybe we're not used to seeing, and we'll see how we're able to perform against that. I still think our coaching staff will dial up the right plays, and it'll be Peyton Thorne delivering the football, getting it to our playmakers, allowing them to make plays in the open field. But again, a much more of a step up from an opponent standpoint. Be a good challenge at 2:30 today for Auburn.
Yeah, and I think that Auburn fans as well as the players are looking forward to this matchup because they want to go out and prove that regardless of who the opponent is, the product that you saw on the field last week is what you're going to see moving forward on Saturdays with the Tigers. And so I think that, and I know it's probably been talked about ad nauseum during the week, but I don't care who you're playing, honestly. Like, there was a time where, even as close as a year ago, that game could have been 27-10 or something like that, and it would have been ugly, and you'd have been looking back and saying, but it'll be a different type of game. But I think that Auburn's skill position players are set up well to challenge what they're going to do defensively.
I heard Jason Caldwell yesterday on the show. He said, I think for the first time in our lifetime, Auburn came out and did what they needed, what they had to do, or what they should do on offense against a team like Alabama A&M. They said, look, you're going to play us in the coverage that you're lining up in. We're going to throw the football. You're only going to put, you're not going to put a lot of guys. Are you going to bring a lot of guys down to try to stop the run? We're going to take the pass, and vice versa. When you drop out, we're going to run. They took what the defense gave them, and they did that the entire game and ran the offense, Scott. So, again, a lot of times we've seen Auburn be, stubborn, knowing they got 7, 8, 9 guys in the box, just run it anyway because you're playing a less than opponent, don't want to show much. But that's not what Hugh Freeze and Derek Nix did here. They said, look, you're only going to put you're gonna drop 7, 8 in here to stop the run. We're gonna throw the football on you, and when you drop them out, we're gonna run. They took it as they gave it to them, and so that's what I like to see. Against the team you should dominate. They went out and did that. They dominated, and defensively they shut Alabama A&M's rushing game down. They tried to run the football, couldn't do it, so made them one-dimensional, which is not a good scenario for a team that's a massive underdog. So I thought our secondary played well, knowing that they threw the football as much as they did last week. And but it'll be a little bit different of a challenge, and it's crazy to look down and Sam Jackson, who was the quarterback for Cal last year, in that game's now a receiver for Auburn. He was 14 of 27 for about 126 yards, something like that. Went out of that game with an injury. But actually threw the ball a little bit better than Peyton Thorne did in that game. So now Peyton Thorne's throwing to him on this team. So, again, Cal, not a world-beater opponent. Let's not try to sugarcoat this, but a much improved opponent for Auburn, a team that's still hard for me to look down and see an ACC patch on their jersey.
Still don't understand how
when they play in California.
Yeah, not sure how that's going to work. When basketball comes around and these mid-season or midweek games happen. But, Cal, 14-10 last year, but on the road, completely different scenarios than what we have coming into this game.
You know how stupid all this conference stuff is? Cal will travel over 12,000 miles in their road games this year. Man. How is that conducive to anybody being successful? Who thought that was like? I saw a comment this week that said there's not somebody asleep at the wheel at the NCAA. There's nobody at the wheel.
Yeah.
When you heard Eli Drinkwitz say last year with Missouri at a press conference, he said, "Look, football will be fine. We'll manage." But he said, "We have totally thrown all other sports to the woods. We've thrown them out, and we've thrown the baby with the bathwater." Out with the bathwater, and one of the situations that you look at maybe from a basketball even is okay, but baseball, softball, volleyball, midweek games, traveling from West Coast to East Coast and vice versa.
Yeah, it's per usual. a lot of decisions were made without the thinking through the implications of everybody involved. But
well, it was a knee-jerk reaction for these conferences to just grab teams that were available. The SEC started this when they added Texas and Oklahoma. Well, then the Big Ten felt like they had to go get power players. And who was out there? USC, Oregon, right? So they got to go grab them. Well, it led to them grabbing more teams. Well, it diminished the Pac-12 and the Big 12. So now you got the Big 12 trying to scramble to add teams like Central Florida and Houston, to try to make up the losses that they suffered. And then in the meantime, ACC's like, well, crap, we got to grab some teams. So let's go all the way across the country and grab Stanford and Cal and bring them into the ACC. And I think, the Pac-12's got 2 teams left?
Yeah, this is just, the whole thing's just been weird and crazy to follow. But
conference names don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, true.
Really. True. So with that being said, teams were trying to find a way to get in a conference. They were trying to, and then when the dust settled, when they stopped and actually thought about it, they went, man, that was stupid. Why are we having to travel almost every other week to the East, all the way to the East Coast to play athletic events? And again, like I said, Cal, 12,000 plus miles in their road trips this year in football alone. So just crazy to see how that will end up. I think they're going to have to make some changes for sure. You can't really sustain that, even at bigger programs. So, all right, we're going to take a break. Hopefully when we come back, we'll have Luke Robinson with us. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full-service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. Let's go to the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline. Welcome in our good friend Luke Robinson on about 4 hours of sleep. Coming off the scoreboard show last night. Luke, we'll start there. Crazy game in 1A. It's not very often you see a guy score 10 touchdowns and be on the losing end, but McKenzie knocks off Elba 80-78. We talked about it pretty good bit in the first segment, but just kind of get your thoughts on that game. That was wild.
Yeah, boy, neither team could get a stop. I mean, they just back and forth, and it just got wild. And 4 overtimes in, that's just the way it is. And I think Elba has like 2, along with Alvin Henderson, they got another guy that's pretty good apparently, and McKenzie just couldn't stop them. But on the flip side, Elba just couldn't do anything with McKenzie either. And McKenzie gets the win on the road against the number 3 team. That's a pretty big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. Just crazy to see a score like that. Also, real quick, we'll go back up to the biggest classification in 7A. Really good football teams, but again, Phoenix City and Thompson seem to be, 1A, 1B, and everybody else. There seems to be a gap even between the Auburns and those teams like that. We'll see. Carver Montgomery is a team to watch, though, in my opinion, with so much talent, a very good coach. They had another blowout win last night. Maybe they're a team that could maybe make some noise and challenge Phoenix City in that region. Yeah, I think it's really Phoenix City, then Thompson, then a gap. I mean, I think Central Phoenix City has gotten to be that good. They just have so many weapons every single year. They always have a great line play. Thompson's got some studs for sure, but I think that Central Phoenix City, if they went head-to-head right now, I would certainly pick Phoenix City to win that game. And then, there's not a significant drop-off, but enough of a drop-off. I mean, having seen Carver Montgomery in person, I think that they are a very good squad, but let's not forget, this is their first year in 7A. They're going to have some growing pains here sooner rather than later, I bet. And the grind is going to get to them by the end of the year. Auburn may be the one that can step up and challenge. Certainly Enterprise may be in that discussion at some point. But for right now, I think it's Central Phoenix City, a little bit of a gap, then Thompson, then a little more of a gap, and then everybody else.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. All right, let's shift over and talk Alabama. South Florida comes in today. This game last year, very similar, to what Auburn faced. Auburn played Cal this same game last year, and they play Cal tonight. The same with Alabama, played South Florida, and now they play them at home. It wasn't a pretty win for Alabama or Auburn last year on the road, but he got it done. But the thing that stands out to me last year was Nick Saban not playing Jalen Milroe, maybe sending a message that propelled Jalen Milroe to be the player he is right now.
Yeah, I think Jalen Milroe is going to have a big game tonight. I think that he wants to look at this game almost. He's about the only one that can look at this game as a revenge game. Everybody else maybe can look at it as vindication, or improvement. This game is a revenge game, I think, for Jalen Milroe. And one thing that makes me feel more confident about tonight, last year, Alabama didn't have maybe their top 5 or 6 players available that would be available for tonight. For example, Jalen Milroe didn't play. Now, that was a coach's decision. Tyler Booker didn't play because he was hurt. Justice Haynes didn't play, and Jam Miller played but only had 1 carry, and because they were behind Roydale and Jason McClellan, who were upperclassmen. Ryan Williams certainly didn't play because he had probably just gotten his driver's license. Keon Sabb didn't play, and you say, well, you had Caleb Downs, and that's true, and I love Caleb Downs, but I would argue that the South Florida game was probably Caleb Downs' worst game of his Alabama career. So I think Keon Sabb is probably an upgrade for this one particular game at least. And then you talk about Jeremy Bernard. Alabama didn't have Jeremy Bernard either, and they had Kendrick Law, but again, you weren't using him to the degree that you're using him a little more now. So I think that Alabama's got the top 5, 6, 7, 8 players on this particular team that didn't play last year are going to make the difference tonight. No disrespect to South Florida. I think they're a fine squad, a pretty good program. They're on the come up. I mean, they're down in Tampa, and they've got a gazillion people enrolled there. And I think that they can be a pretty formidable foe down the line if they keep growing. But right now, I expect Alabama to cover the spread of 31.5.
You know, what did you take out of last week's game? I mean, again, playing Western Kentucky, not going to get a lot out of it. Didn't have to do a lot. But takeaways from last week's game, Kalen DeBoer's first game as the head coach at Alabama. What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I'll be honest, right after the game, I was probably not negative because, I mean, you beat somebody 6-3-0, you're not going to be negative. But I was a little concerned, I guess. I didn't see the intermediate passing game I wanted to see, and therefore see the growth in Milroe's intermediate and short passing game I wanted to see. I didn't see really any passing to the backs. I think they tried it twice. Maybe later in the game, and it didn't work. And so I was sort of not down, but again, just mildly critical of that. And some other people pointed out, look, maybe we're not going to be more of an intermediate passing type team. Now, the one pass to Ryan Williams, his second touchdown, was a pretty good intermediate pass, and then Ryan Williams did the rest. But I think that Alabama's going to be more of a big play, big strike kind of team. They had 2 80-yard touchdowns. I don't think they had one 80-yard touchdown all of last year. So, and they've already got 2 after one game. And again, Western Kentucky's no slouch. I mean, they aren't. Alabama wasn't playing a 1A squad here. I mean, Western Kentucky is good enough to be considered at least somebody that makes you roll out of bed and do some stretching. And so I feel like it was a good start for Alabama. I think Jalen Milroe still had a couple of things to work on, maybe some reads he missed, but that's okay. I like coming out of that game, winning 63-0, and still being able to say, all right, here's what else we can work on for the future. And I love the way Alabama's schedule is setting up right now. Really, I think it sort of mirrors Auburn in a way. I think last week, as I said, I thought Auburn needed somebody who, couldn't play dead in the Cowboy movie, and that's what they got. And they went out there and did what they need to do. Like you guys said, Auburn traditionally doesn't do that. They went out there and just put up 73 on the board, and then everybody went to the house. Now they're going to play somebody who's a little bit better. They're not great, but they're a little bit better. They'll pose a little bit more of a test, and same thing with Alabama tonight. I think South Florida is a little bit better than Western Kentucky, and that'll pose a little bit more of a test. Then the next week, I know things sort of shift from there because Alabama will be going to Wisconsin. And while Wisconsin, I don't think they're even ranked in the top 25 right now, that place is a difficult place to play, as Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State can attest. So I think it'll be a test at 11 o'clock in a completely different environment that you've ever been in. And then they get the week off, of course, and then they play Georgia, who is arguably the best team in the country. So I like the progression of Alabama's schedule to where they can have growth every game and still not be, we're not facing 4 Georgias in a row. We're facing increasingly more difficult talent until you get to Georgia, and I think that's going to help them.
Yeah, I think you're right. The schedules do mirror each other, although, Auburn will play a New Mexico next week, but then they come back and they'll start with Arkansas, and then they'll head into that Oklahoma game. I'll just get your quick thoughts about teams around the SEC after the first week. Some things of note to me, South Carolina is horrific. You look at the way they played, and there's some teams that Vanderbilt, man, a big win over Virginia Tech. Everybody kind of was looking for a potential upset at an 11 o'clock game in Vandy. There's usually not a very good environment there. But Virginia Tech was a lot of people's dark horse to win the ACC, and they still may do it. But Vanderbilt with a massive win there to start the season. Florida's horrific. I don't know how long Billy Napier can hang on down there. Just kind of some initial thoughts from you, Luke, around the conference. Yeah, for the ACC's sake, I hope that, and for the College Football Playoff Committee's sake, I hope Virginia Tech doesn't win the ACC because look, it may be good for me personally because if Virginia Tech does win the ACC, I think that's going to bolster my argument of we should have no more automatic, 1, 2, 3, 4 slots. Because I don't care if you are the champion of a Power 4 conference. If you lose I've lost to Vanderbilt on your schedule, then you should not be one of the top 4 teams in the country and get a bye. I just think that's ridiculous. So, but as far as Florida goes, I just don't know, Brett. I think that, again, we've all been there at different times where you have a coach that he jumps the shark, where it's just not going to happen. The fans know it. Everybody knows it, yet the administration sort of hangs on for whatever reason. It may be budgetary. It may be
that they still believe in him, or they may not care. But in the end, everybody else knows he's dead man walking. And I think Billy Napier's time has come to an end. I'm not sure he's a bad coach. I just think it's been a really, really bad fit. And, you know, if Florida's concerns are budgetary, which they very well may be, I think that they could take a lesson from just about every other team that's been through this. Even with somebody as recently as like LSU with Ed Orgeron, where they knew, like, this isn't working anymore. You did a great thing in 2019, but this isn't working anymore. I mean, the same way Auburn learned with Gene Chizik. You know, you did great in 2010, but then it's been all downhill since then. And if we want to continue to be a viable program, we got to get rid of you. And I think that they can't afford to keep him if they keep him another year or so, unless things get magically turned around, which they won't. I mean, Florida is probably going to have to struggle against Samford today. Let's not forget, Samford's put up the most points in a single game than any opponent in Gator history at the Swamp. So, I mean, they're playing a team that's not going to be super scared of them. Meanwhile, LSU, I thought the quarterback play all around the conference looked pretty good. You know, I love the Pavia kid from Vandy. I mean, he showed a lot of guts. I say I love it all around the place. I don't love it at South Carolina. You're right. I was really disappointed in how poorly they played, because I was looking forward to them maybe taking another step up. They've got a great freshman in Dylan Stewart, who might be the best pass rusher in the conference if it's not James Pierce at Tennessee. I mean, as a true freshman, he's unbelievable. But they don't have a great quarterback. When your quarterback has to come out there with rec specs, it's never a good sign, if you ask me. Then Kentucky, I mean, hey, look, South Carolina and Kentucky play each other today. That's going to be a lot of fun. LSU, they lose their starting running back. I think that's going to be a problem. I think maybe some of their antics, you know, the making of shooting the gun motion. Look, I get that if you want to celebrate a little bit, we saw it for Alabama and Auburn games. We saw guys celebrating in their own little poses and their own little ways, and the refs are letting it go a little more, and I think we can all be down with that. Like, don't overdo it, but if you want to do a little something, okay, thumbs up. But when you mimic shooting a gun at this in this day and age, well, something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
I mean, if you can't, you were so tone deaf that you deserve to be penalized.
And then went over to the sideline and imitated it again, and didn't, you know, basically reinforce what he did. I mean, just again, Brian Kelly, Luke. He's a good football coach, but he's never won anything. And in big games, he's notorious for laying an egg, and he laid another one.
Think about this, Brett. Think about how different he would be viewed right now by LSU people if Mason Taylor doesn't catch the 2-point conversion against Alabama a couple of years ago.
Oh, man.
I mean, he doesn't win the West. He loses to Alabama again. I memean, I'm telling you, he needed breaks in that game to be able to get what is now his signature win at LSU. And LSU has lost 5 straight season openers. I mean, that is insane. Now, I know some of the LSU people are like, we got to quit playing tough opponents, and we got to play some Western Kentuckys and some Alabama A&Ms. That's such a loser's mentality way to look at it, first of all. And secondly, I mean, I would argue, hey, nobody played tougher openers for years than Alabama. So, I mean, I don't know where you're getting that argument, but how about just winning the game that's in front of you? I mean, it wasn't like you were playing the 85 Bears. You were playing a decent USC team that has typically been getting run out of the gym by other good teams, and you couldn't do it. That's more on you than your scheduling.
No doubt about it. Well, Luke, appreciate you very much, as always. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week, okay?
All right, guys, have a good one.
Thanks so much. Luke Robinson there is right. I mean, to me, that was not a good message sent by LSU. It wasn't a good look for them. You can say, well, man, it's not overreacting. I mean, when you intentionally look at somebody like you shoot a shotgun, you are who you are. So you can say what you want to and say you're caught up in the moment. That's crap. So, all right, we're going to take a break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. Cupcake week in the SEC. McNeese State at Texas A&M. But, hey, you know, better watch out, Texas A&M. Their offense.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about if you went to a car lot, Texas A&M to me is go to the car lot, you're going to buy this nice luxury car, and you happen to buy the lemon.
Yeah.
There's always an issue. There's a problem. It looks great. Shiny, beautiful, great paint job. No, it's a $150,000 car, but it's got $5,000 worth of insides in it.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's always off. And last week was an opportunity for them against Notre Dame, and they just couldn't get it done. And they had everything going for them at home to win that game.
Yeah, and, you know, that was one where he really wanted to win to kind of start the season off and get on the right foot, and because they're probably projected, I'd say they're no more than 8 probably.
Right.
So that was probably one that they were looking for. And now that puts you in kind of a 7-win category.
Somebody said Brian Kelly cost the SEC 2 games last week because if he'd have been coaching Notre Dame, they would have got a win. So in essence, he lost 2 games for the SEC this past weekend. All right, Tennessee Tech at Georgia. This game will be over at kickoff as soon as the game is kicked off. But you know, you've seen in the past before Kirby got there a team that you look up and go, man, what is Georgia doing? Mm-hmm. Don't think that's going to happen.
No.
All right, Middle Tennessee at Ole Miss should be business as usual. Buffalo will travel to Missouri. That'll probably be a blowout. Sanford at Florida. I better watch that one, like Luke said. I mean, if he were to lose this, he's fired. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Wow. I'm making the call here. If Sanford wins, over Florida today, he's fired.
But what? How did we get here with Florida? Like they're bad. Like they're a bad football team.
I don't know. Right in the middle of one of the most rich recruiting states in the country. I mean, again, Cam Ward and Miami went up there and just beat them and made them like it, and then walked out of the stadium and walked by the recruiting section and told them all, said, y'all don't want to come here, come on down. I mean, Florida, the recruiting people for Florida were trying to get Miami's player off field, and they literally were walking over to the recruiting section going, and they had somebody on, of course, there's videos everywhere now, somebody with their phone going, Miami's players like, boy, you don't want to come to this dump. Don't come down here. I mean, that's where they are, man, and it's hard to argue with them right now.
No,
Boy, when you are down, it is hard to get going in the right direction. It is hard to convince those recruits that you have in the stands there to watch your team after they just got their doors blown off and the opposing team walks by and pretty much chastises the team in their own stadium. And you don't walk into the swamp historically and do that to them, period.
And that, I think you make a really good point. It's like you can even if you would say, we can bring some guys in and improve the roster. Yeah, but if I'm there and I'm watching what I'm watching, why would I want to come there? So now you can't even build for the future. So I'm with you. I don't think they lose today, but his tenure with Florida probably is done by the end of October.
Nicholls State at LSU, no problem. Should be no problem. Alcorn State at Vandy. This will be a Vanderbilt game they'll lose. They just knock off Virginia Tech, and they got Alcorn State coming in, and Vanderbilt's fans actually have a little bit of something to get excited about. They could, and it'd be typical Vanderbilt to lose again. They're not going to, not with Diego Pavia there now. Houston at Oklahoma could, okay. And then South Florida at Alabama, and, of course, Auburn will take on Cal at 2:30. We'll take a break here on the program. Stay tuned. A couple more segments of Saturday Sports Countdown left here today.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rates. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
At Team One Hyundai, it's the Summer Savings Sales Event. All new Hyundais will be sold at employee pricing, plus an unheard of $1,000 bonus for your trade-in. See our huge selection of new and pre-owned inventory at team1hyundai.com. Don't miss the summer savings with employee pricing, plus a $1,000 bonus for your trade. Team One Hyundai of Gadsden, where the experience exceeds your expectations.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Announcing Camping World's Inflation Buster camping program. You can now get into a new RV starting at just $98 a month. We won't let the economy steal your camping season. Take advantage of this very limited time offer and lock in your low monthly payment today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's talk about Auburn last week. Big win. Obviously, we talked about it earlier, did what they needed to do. But we didn't talk about Malcolm Simmons from our hometown. Malcolm led Auburn in receptions, yardage, had a couple touchdowns, one in the passing game, had a recovery on a block punt. Very good start for Malcolm Simmons at Auburn. Again, not that we were surprised, but a lot of people weren't talking about him like they were talking about Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, and some of those guys. They're going to talk a lot about Malcolm Simmons now. He's a tremendous player. Had a lot of text messages from people around the state that said, man, y'all were spot on. You know, we told everybody. I mean, we watched it for 4 years, and we knew what kind of player he was. And, you know, he does it. He's a great team player, and he pulls for everybody on the team. But he uses that not talking about him as motivation to go out there and prove even more why he's such a good player.
Yeah, and, you know, how awesome is it that somebody who has put in the work saw the dividends of that work. First play of the season goes to him, and I thought that was a good sign for him being in on those sets. And as Coach Free said, you know, that may not always be the case, but for that moment it was, and gets into the end zone in his first game in Jordan-Hare. So I don't think you could have written it up any more perfectly, other than maybe he would have had an opportunity to return a kick return. But I think that he, along with the rest of that receiving room, is going to be a lot of fun to watch over the next couple of years, and I think that it's going to elevate our quarterback play. Still want to see a little bit more from PT, but I think that he
it didn't have. I mean, we could have thrown the ball.
But
to all those guys every time. I mean, but that's.
I want to see it today. That's more so what I'm saying. I want to see how it goes against a little tougher competition. But I think Jacquez Hunter, you know, we're good offensively.
Right.
And I think from a defensive standpoint, we'll continue to get better in maybe some areas of the team where we were maybe a little worried. Again, I know it was A&M, but you just feel better. People didn't look out of position. It just looked like we were prepared.
I mean, I think that's what the biggest takeaway for everybody is that we came out and we looked like we were a team in midseason form against a lesser than opponent. I mean, the game was over midway through the first quarter, and it was – I mean, seriously, we had one mishap on defense where we had an interception and went through his hands, gave Alabama A&M the ball inside the 10-yard line, and then our defense forced a field goal opportunity, and they missed it. And after that, it was over. I mean, it was like, not that was going to be some challenge, but we did at least give our defense a situation where their backs were against the wall, and they stood up and stopped them. And so that was their best scoring opportunity. And, you know, after that, it was just how much the score was going to be at that point. So, all right, we'll shift over to talk about Cal here. This is a team, again, Mendoza, the quarterback, was the third-string quarterback last year for Cal. He was a walk-on, but, you know, serviceable guy last week, 15 of 22 for 158 yards and a touchdown. They played UC Davis. They beat them 31-13, but UC Davis had more yards total offense than they did. It was 5 turnovers that killed UC Davis. That is not a very good football team in UC Davis, and Cal didn't really do much, only had 102 yards on the ground. That's not going to cut it in a game like today. They're going to have to run the football, and if Jay Knott's not fully healthy, it's not going to be a good day for them. I mean, I don't think – the thing that Gary Harris asked me on his show yesterday is, what do you not want to see? And I said – I don't want to see Auburn take a step back. I don't want to see them go, okay, everybody's praising them for coming out against a lesser opponent and taking care of business, and then you come out against a team that's a little bit better, and you come out here and now the penalties creep in. Now you misfire in the passing game. Now, it doesn't look like you're firing on all cylinders on defense and missing tackles and things. Come out and build off the momentum. That's where Auburn's fallen off in the last probably our whole life. Well, you set yourself up for higher expectations and you get let down, and you don't do that. Build off of a big win, improve on that, and continue, like Luke said, with Alabama, the schedule's a progression. To get to maybe one of the tougher games on your schedule all year, it'll be Georgia for Alabama, it'll be Oklahoma for Auburn, and at the same weekend. So progress and get back. I don't want to see Auburn take a step back, look sloppy.
Yeah, excuse me. And, again, I just think that there's a newfound attitude that's coming from the coaching staff. I think Coach Freeze understands how difficult it's been for Auburn to maintain some consistency and stability as it relates to the program. And so I'm with you. Just come out and play well. And this is one of those games where if you're looking to get to 8 to 9 wins, you can't lose one of these. So Auburn needs to take care of business this afternoon.
Right, I totally agree. So just come out and, again, do what you did against Alabama A&M and execute. Move the football, move the chains on third down. Don't have penalties. Just look like you're dialed into the game and you're doing the things that you need to do to win, and maybe let them be the one make the mistakes. And again, I think this point spread is interesting. I think it dropped to 12. It was 11, went to 13. Now it's back to 12. It's kind of a little bit up, back and forth. But I think Auburn should win this game easily by 2 touchdowns if they're doing what they need to do.
I agree.
Now, if it's a slop fest and they're not executing and you allow a team to hang around, now you're going to have problems in the second half. But if they come out and they do what I think they can do offensively, now this is going to be a very experienced secondary, probably one of the more experienced secondaries Auburn will play. So this will be a good challenge for Peyton Thorne and our young receivers. But if they light this group up with as much experience as Cal has in the secondary, you could have a message sent there for sure moving forward. But all right, up against our final break of the show, one final segment right after this.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindawa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Back here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, final segment of the show. Again, Scott, we went through the SEC matchups today. Not many of note that are – this is cupcake week, really, for most teams. I mean, Houston at Oklahoma could be semi-interesting, I guess. But for the most part, it's going to be games that every SEC team should win handily with the outside of Tennessee. Tennessee has to travel to NC State. NC State's a ranked team. They're ranked 24. Tennessee's 14th. So that game tonight at 6:30 on ABC. We'll see how that game plays out. But nationally, not very many good games either. Texas at Michigan here at 11 o'clock. Texas looked really good in their opener. Michigan did not. They got to go to the big house. So big challenge early for Texas, defending national champs in Michigan, but this is not the same Michigan team.
No, I think this is a game where Texas goes in, and it'll be tough, obviously, on the road, but I like Texas to come away with a victory this morning.
All right, another team that is not going to have a cupcake in the SEC is Arkansas at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a 10-point favorite. Arkansas hung 70 on Pine Bluff last week, but this is not Pine Bluff. This is one of the best, if not the best, running back in the country, and Gordon. And we'll see. Can Arkansas take the next step in trying to get back to some type of semblance of competitiveness in the SEC? It starts today with Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I couldn't decide for the much of the week who I liked in the game. I really wanted to pick Arkansas, but it just seems like Oklahoma State would be the team to go with there. All
right, Georgia Tech off to a 2-0 start, and they travel to Syracuse. Syracuse is one of that places hard to play in. That dome is just difficult. But can Georgia Tech, who's ranked 23rd, get off to a 3-0 start, man? It's a big game for them.
Yeah, the fighting Austin Robinsons have a good opportunity to get 3-0, and but people forget they had a pretty good season last year. I mean, they finished very strong, but we'll see how it continues. But it's a fun story to watch when they're good.
We hadn't talked about Florida State. How bad is that?
Chicka chicka pow pow. Wow,
that sounds about like the last name of Uiagalelei. That may be what he said.
DJU is just
he's terrible,
man. Like they're worse than Florida, I think.
Well, it's a flip of the coin. I mean, Florida and Florida State are the worst two programs in the entire state, and there's like 7 programs. So, if you look at them coming off what they did last year, I know they had a lot of players opt out of that bowl game. Georgia beat the brakes off them. I think it's been a hangover.
Yeah.
I think it really has been a situation where they look down and man, they are just not a very good football team. And
that Saban coaching tree looking kind of shaky there.
Outside of Kirby.
Yeah, outside of Kirby. Yeah, outside of Kirby.
I guess for the most part, he's been the guy to carry the mantle, and Kirby right now looks pretty dominant. Miami, Cam Ward, man, looks really good. I kind of wish we'd have had an opportunity there. But
I like what's going on there with Miami. It's like they're one of those programs too, at least from my childhood, that everybody kind of idolized with the amount of athletes they had. So it's fun when they're good.
Right, no doubt about it. Well, coming up against the end of the program here, Scott, just your thoughts on today's game with Auburn and Cal.
I think it's one of those where you need to come out and establish a run pretty early and open up the passing attack because they do have a strong secondary. But ultimately, I think our athletes will out-athlete theirs. And so I like Auburn maybe 38-20.
38-20, okay. So going to cover.
38-24. I'll say 38-24.
Well, I went ahead and it was a lot more brazen, I guess, on Auburn Blitz. I said Auburn's going to win the game 42-10. I think if Auburn comes out and does what they need to do, they're going to see them run the football more. This is not going to be just a pass-happy offense. I think Auburn wants to establish the run, and they can. And it's going to set up things in the pass. It's going to make them come up and honor the run. So it's going to take a little bit of pressure off of our wide receivers and put them in situations where it's not a lot of multiple looks that they're getting in the secondary, maybe like we heard on Auburn Blitz. If they play any press man, could be deep, for Cal against
if Auburn wins 42-10. Watch out.
Well, I think they need a statement. I think we can take the next step. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying not to fall into that hole of, we just be content with doing this. We're a much better. This is a 6-6. If we're not a 7-win team ourselves, we need at home 2:30 to go ahead and take care of business against this Calton. Now, it's a better team. I'm not taking anything away. I'm being a little bit optimistic here. But I think if we go out and play our game, we can win the game. Maybe not 42-10, but maybe 35-10 or something like that. So we'll see how it all plays out. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us each and every Saturday. I appreciate all the comments and the questions and everything that comes in every day on Auburn Blitz and our Sports Blitz Live program every Tuesday night from 7 to 9. I've been on the air for almost 20 years now, so we really appreciate everybody's support. We're going to head out now, and we'll be back with you next week for another full week of Sports Blitz and Auburn Blitz programming coming your way. We hope every one of you out there have a great rest of your weekend and be safe out there. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
With summer here, the kids out of school, and fun at the lake, illness or injury can strike at any time. Whether you're on vacation or just don't have time to go see your primary doctor, visit your friends and professionals at Ivy Creek Urgent Care, located at Highway 49 South, next to Stillwater's main entrance, with a rotation of 4 professional doctors and 3 nurse practitioners. They honor all walk-ins, get you in, properly treated, and out swift so you can be back to the summer fun fast. When you need urgent, see Ivy Creek Urgent Care, Dadeville. No appointment needed.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor wants you to know the only thing hotter than the summer on the lake is the hot incentives with all Mahindra tractors and farm implements and tough Spartan mowers. Right now, get the year's hottest deals on Mahindra with financing up to 84 months or 0%. Speaking of zero, see the huge selection of zero-turn Spartan mowers with 0% interest, financing up to 60 months. See the lake's authorized Mahindra and Spartan dealer, Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, for deals that sizzle all season long.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.